It's getting to be the hot part of the summer, and does your range cart give you a place to sit down, a place to load your magazines, and a little bit of shade? The S3 range cart can. Welcome back to the Humble Marksman channel, the only gun channel on the internet, dripping with that BDE. That's right, Big Dad Energy. I've got a dark one for you guys today. What's hard and red and bad for your teeth? A brick. I told you it was a dark one. If you've got a favorite dad joke, sound off in the comments, and if I feature it, I'll be sure to give you a shout out. I'm David, and I'm here to talk to you about the S3 range cart. Now, you may notice it's not in here because holding up a, basically roll-aboard suitcase is not practical. But S3 range carts were kind enough to send this in for review, so I'm here to tell you guys about it. Now, I'll go ahead and throw it out there. As configured, this would cost about $500. Cutting right to the chase, I would say that the creature comforts that this cart provide on the range substantiate the price point. Now, generally speaking, when people are shooting matches, if people are serious, they bring kind of those folding little wagons, they bring whatever their range bag is. If you want to have shade, then maybe you've got an umbrella holder clipped to the side of your cart. Most people don't even have that. And they'll bring around a kind of folding chair. And the reason that's a thing is because at a lot of ranges, they're basically just dirt pits that host these kind of competitive shooting matches. So there's nowhere to sit down and there's no shade. If you're in the DFW area, I'm sure you've been to ETTS and you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's nowhere to load magazines and there's nowhere to sit down, and there certainly isn't any shade. And that's kind of where the S3 range cart really does shine and why I was so interested in the thing. So first and foremost, it is a Zuka cart, which apparently is used in disc golf as well. But the cart itself, it has two wheels, so it's easy to drag around. It's kind of like a rollaboard suitcase with sort of big wheels. The tires are a foam core with rubber around them, is how they're kind of feel. So they're not going to go flat, because I know all of us have wheelbarrows where we never use, and we go to use them and the tires are flat. That's not going to be an issue on this range cart. The bag itself is broken into 3 different compartments. There is the top compartment, and I would recommend the lift out organizing tray. That is a pretty good value for keeping stuff in there. One thing you could do is you could keep your ammo at the bottom of the upper compartment. Use the lift out tray for your like tools and pro grip and whatever. Then there's the middle compartment on the outside, which takes a whole bunch of 140, 155 millimeter magazines. It doesn't take big sticks for you open shooters. So being an open shooter myself, I got that optional longer magazine pouch that kind of clips onto the molly on the side of the cart. And then there is the bottom. You can keep, a couple pistol rugs with pistols in there. You can keep a whole bunch of ammo down there. Just kind of depends on what you want to do. Now, being a prima donna open shooter, you've seen all of us with these gigantic caboodles at the range that we keep these expensive open guns in. And one thing that's really nice about the S3 range cart is there is a strap that clips this onto the outside of the cart, so you can drag this around with you and not have to carry it. On the back side of the cart are 2-liter water bottle holders, which is pretty nice, especially when going to a match, so that's all to the good. The top of the cart is this little like sheet steel thing that can be a seat. I've got the optional cover that you can put on it that acts as kind of like a cushion, and the reason you kind of want that is if you live in a place with really high solar index, black steel versus kind of a black nylon, the black steel would heat up to the point where you can't really sit on top of the cart, so it kind of makes sense to get one of those if you live in a place like Texas where the sun is super intense. And there is a single handle at the top. Now, on the shaft of the handle, you can do 2 things. You can clip an umbrella holder and you can clip an ammo tray. So what happens is if you click the ammo tray, then you can sit on top of the cart and load magazines on it. Now, if you just try and stand up next to the cart and you bear down too hard on that tray, you will make the cart want to tip over. It's generally better to kind of sit on it. There's an umbrella sheath that can hold your umbrella, and then the umbrella holder when you deploy it. Now, guys, I need to talk to you about this. So it was the middle of June when I started filming this, and I didn't have an umbrella that I could use for this. So I stopped at Buc-ee's on the way to the range thinking for sure I could get a Buc-ee umbrella with the beaver on there. I bought one of those for my wife for Christmas a couple years ago as a gag gift. She lost it. It was the weirdest thing. But I was hoping to get one of those for this to use at the range. There weren't any. They didn't have any of the Buc-ee's branded umbrellas. They only had these umbrellas where every panel of it was a different color. So that's the story of the umbrella that I have. It works fine. It keeps the shade off just fine, but I really wanted it to be a Buc-ee's umbrella. And because these carts are starting to become more common at matches, a lot of people just go with the straight black one. You can pick different colors for the bag itself, and you can get monogramming. So obviously I got monogramming. One thing that I didn't mention is the bag is made in America. So rather than going on to Amazon and buying, you know, a fold-up cart and a range bag from countries that aren't friendly with the US, you can put people in the US to work, which, you know, is cool. And I know a lot of people in this space appreciate when they can support the home team, so that option is available to you. The cart absolutely is a quality of life improvement at the range when shooting big matches. Now, I don't know how it takes down for air travel yet. So for regional matches where you're throwing the stuff in the car and driving around, it works great. It will lay flat on its back in the trunk of a car. I keep it kind of standing upright in the back of my dad minivan. And if you had a sedan and you didn't want to lay it on kind of the water bottle holders, you could just kind of stand it up in your back seat in your car. It is a huge quality of life improvement. Specifically having the shade, having a place to sit down, and a place to load magazines is all to the good. You can do a whole bunch of stuff through kind of their customization options. So you can make the cart suit what you have. Because it is more of like an off-road tire or rollerboard suitcase, it handles better in kind of the treacherous terrain, like those little pull behind carts with four wheels. When you get on like a cross slope or whatever, they just want to, you know, turn over real bad. These don't want to do that. It's much easier to just drag this thing around behind you. Plus, people won't try and put their crap in your cart so that you have to lug it around the range all the time. So if you've got questions, sound off in the comments. Thank you to S3 Range Carts for sending this out. So if you want one, check them out. I appreciate you guys. Catch you on the next one.